This is Professor L.B.Gayakawad's English Literature Web. I am Professor L.B.Gayakawad is teaching today the topic Figures of Speech. This is my lecture number 345 and part first. Before going to the topic, I will request you to share my YouTube channel with your friends. The second request I will do is that please see all the notes which I have put in the description box. Now we will go to the topic. The topic is figures of speech. What is figure of speech? Figures of speech is a technique. Remember, it is a particular technique of the speaker which makes language decorative. This technique makes the language decorative and different, means the language of the speaker becomes very much different, very much I will say innovative from other speakers in life. And by this the readers, when listen to the speaker, are very much surprised by such a speaker. The writer uses alive and innovative words and phrases to make his intention successful. The point is that if the speaker wants to make his lecture successful or to make his intention purpose successful, then he uses the figures of speech. The figures of speech thus make a language flavored. Flavored means what? Interesting. Flavored means very digestive. Means because of the use of the figures of speech, the language of the speaker becomes very flavored, that is digestive, and people are surprised, people are attracted by the speech of the gentleman. Then the language becomes again enjoyable, means the readers, listeners enjoy his language for listening. Now we are going to learn the types of the figures of speech. The first type is simile. The writer compares two things with each other with the help of as, such as, and like. When we discuss the simile figure of speech, then we understand here that the writer compares there, means makes the comparison between the two things, and he uses the words there as, such as, and like. It means if as, such as, and like are there in a sentence or a line, that sentence is a simile. Now we will see the example. Seema is as beautiful as Radhika. Here this is the simile because this simile is given, or this sentence is given with the help of as, means there is the use of as, and that's why it is the simile. The second example is there. I haven't seen such a man in life. Remember, this is the sentence which is used there with the help of the word such a man, and that's why it is also the simile. And the third example is Seema is like Radha. Here is the simile because this is only because of the word like. So if there are the words as, such as, and like in the sentence, then it is the sentence of the simile. Now the next figure of speech is metaphor. So what is metaphor? We will see. The metaphor never shows open comparison like simile. Remember, when we discuss the metaphor, then we can say here that metaphor is also the, I will say, simile, but it is not the open comparison, it is not the open simile like simile. It means that in the simile we use the words like, as, such as, but that is the open comparison, means we can easily understand that there is the comparison between the two things with the help of the words as, such as, and like. But when we see the comparison of the two things in the sense of metaphor, then the metaphor shows unseen or hidden comparison. Means there is no open comparison, the comparison is unseen, that is the hidden comparison between the two things. So metaphor is known as implied simile, which is given there without as, such as, and like. Means there are no words like as, such as, and like. Means it is the implied simile, means without as, such as, and like, the lines or sentences of the metaphor are written or spoken. We will see now the examples. My love is red, red rose. This is the metaphor. And my love is like a red rose. This is the simile. So we will see here the difference. Means in the metaphor there is no like word, but my love is a red rose. It means that my love is like a red rose. So there is the difference between the metaphor and simile. Means the metaphor is the hidden simile and the simile is the open, I will say, simile, that is the open comparison, and in the metaphor there is the hidden comparison. My love is of a red rose. This is the next example which is of the metaphor, because there is the use of. If there is the use of, then it is quite possible to say that it is also the example of the metaphor. Now the next example is, child is the father of man. This is the metaphor. Why? Because there is the use of, and there is also the unseen or hidden comparison between two things. It means the child and the father of man. So here we can say that this is the metaphor. And now child is the father of man. This example will be changed into the simile, child is like man's father. So when we use as, such as, and like, then it is the simile. And when we do not use these three words, but there is the hidden, I will say, comparison, unseen comparison, then that is the particular, I will say, the comparison, and that is the, I will say, unseen comparison, and that's why it is also the metaphor. Now we will see the next figure of speech, and that is alliteration. So remember, in alliteration we see repetition, means there is the repetition. Of what repetition? There is the repetition of consonant sounds, means the consonant sounds are repeated there, and the consonant sounds are repeated there. Initially words, means at the beginning of the words the consonant sounds are repeated there. For example, we will see, she should sleep under a shade. Now see here, sa consonant, sa, the consonant sa means yes, consonant has been repeated initially the word. Second example is there, a cook can cook in a cooking condition. In this sentence, k, that is k, consonant has been repeated initially the words. So here alliteration we have seen. Now we will see the assonance. Assonance means what? A-S-S-O-N-A-N-C-E, assonance. Means assonance means the figure of speech now we are discussing. We see similar vowel sounds are repeated in a line or a sentence. When we see the example of the assonance, then we find that in that example the vowel sounds are repeated. That may be the line of the poem, or that may be the sentence of the paragraph, I will say. For example, the light is right to find the sight. So when we see this example, then we can see that here in this example, I is the particular vowel, and this vowel has been repeated in light. How? Lighter means L plus I, that is light. Lighter means I. Lighter means I vowel has been repeated there. Then there is the word right. In the right word, I vowel is repeated. Writer means right. Writer means right. So there is I vowel sound is repeated. Then find, her plus ind means find. There is also I vowel sound is repeated. And sight, in sight also we can see that this sound is repeated. So here we have seen these examples. Now we are going to see the irony. In irony, the speaker uses words to say opposite of their literal meaning. Literal meaning means the meaning which is word meaning. Means the speaker in the irony talks in the sentence opposite of the literal meaning, where the meaning is contradicted, that is the meaning is opposite due to the reality of thought, because there is the reality of the thought, and that's why the meaning is contradictory, I will say, and that's why it is called the irony. So now we will see the types of the irony. Verbal irony. Now see, we are thinking of the verbal irony. Man talks here opposite of the meaning. Means what is actually the meaning? Here the person talks opposite of the meaning. Which meaning that person likes to say? Means actually the meaning which he wants to say, opposite of that meaning he talks here. This meaning is different from the actual meaning. Means actual meaning is different, and the meaning which he speaks is also different. It means that the saying is different and purpose is different. Means the person says is very different, and the purpose which the person keeps with him is also different for creating humor, and this gentleman does this only to create the humor. Now we are thinking of the situational irony. So what is the situational irony? Means the situational irony happens by seeing the particular situation, that is the condition. The communication or the situation happens without expectation. Means there is no thing is expected. Means the speaker does not expect that this situation will happen, and without the expectation this situation happens, and that's why this is called the situational irony, I will say. And the situation goes against the speaker or against the persons who are there. The outcome is tragic. Means the outcome, that is the result of this irony, is, I will say, tragic or humorous without expectation. Here means there is no expectation, but the meaning goes tragic and humorous there. Now we are going to the dramatic irony. What is actually the dramatic irony we are studying? The character speaks here without knowing situation. Means actually the character does not know what is the situation and what the situation is there and how that situation will create humor. The character does not know, and this happens the dramatic irony. Now we are going to see the next figure of speech, and that is the personification. see, lifeless and abstract ideas and animals behave like living humans. Means remember, on the earth there are the humans who only speak, who only move, and who only are the living persons on the earth. Actually, in the personification, the lifeless, that is the dead, and abstract things, it means that the things which unseen, and the animals, all these I will say all these identities behave like the human, like the person, like man and woman, and that's why this is called the personification. Personification means what? All these things do like a person. So personifications means they do like a person, and that's why it is called personification. We will see the examples. The dog spoke with me. Now see, actually the dog never speaks, because only on the earth there is man who talks only. But here in this sentence, the dog speak with me is the sentence, and that's why here the dog is speaking. So it is the personification of that dog. Means dog is speaking like a person, and that's why it is the personification. Then trees call me to sit with them. Remember what is the sentence here? Trees call me to sit with them. Means the trees are there, and those trees are calling this gentleman to sit with them. Means the trees are calling him to sit with them. So this is the particular thing. Means the trees are doing, or the tree is doing like a person, and that's why it is the personification. We will see here in the next figure of speech, and that is pun, P-U-N, pun. It is playing on words. Means we play there on words, means we use the words and we make jokes and humor on the words. And gaming on words means there is the game of the words, and the purpose is to create jokes. We will see some examples. The tea is dancing in the pot. Remember, the tea is dancing in the pot means when such type of sentence is there, then there is the playing on every word, and the meaning is very much humorous, that the tea is dancing in the pot. Actually the person wants to say the tea is boiling in the pot, but he is saying here the tea is dancing in the pot. The words give different meanings here, more than one meaning. Means these examples are giving the meanings which are more meanings, means different meanings. Means there is not one meaning, but there are more meanings. Means we can calculate more meanings there, and it is done only for creating the comedy. But the purpose of this comedy is to criticize the particular situation. That is the purpose. Now we are going to see the next figure of speech, and that is the hyperbole. So here it is used, means the hyperbole is used here with exaggeration. Means there is the exaggeration, means it is the particular thing that over talking, I will say, or extra talking is done there, or extra thing is done there. That is called the exaggeration, and there is the exaggeration, and that's why it is called the hyperbole. And this exaggeration is done there, or is being done there, to have a big impact. For examples, we will see, I will bring stars upon earth for you. Means this gentleman is talking that he will bring the stars upon earth for that gentleman. So this is very much impossible, but he is trying to do all this, and that's why it is the exaggeration, and that's why it is the hyperbole. Then transferred epithet is the next figure of speech we are looking at. Here the epithet, that is the adjective, is transferred to describe the noun that follows it. We will see the examples. The speaker had a wonderful day. In this example, the transferred epithet, that is the adjective, is wonderful. Means wonderful is the adjective there, which adjective is telling the speaker's day, which is very much wonderful and special. Now we are looking the climax, the next figure of speech. Here the thought goes up in ascending situation, means the thought goes up and goes up. That is called the climax. Examples we are studying now. A poor man became a rich man, means he went up. Then he became MLA, means at first he was a rich man, then he became MLA, and finally he became the chief minister. And it is the climax because the situation has gone up and up in his life, and that's why it is the, I will say, climax. Now we are studying the anti-climax. So what is anti-climax? Anti-climax is opposite of the climax. So here the thought comes down in descending situations, means the maximum topper thing comes down and down. That is called the anti-climax. So for examples we will see, William lost his family. It means that at first he lost his family, then William lost his business, and then he lost his clothes on his body due to COVID. So remember, the sentence is that William lost his family, his business, and then clothes on body due to COVID. So here the situation of this gentleman has become very much lower, and the situation has come down very much lower to the lower situation, and that's why it is the anti-climax. So here we have finished the topic. Again I will request you to please watch, like, subscribe and share my YouTube channel. Thank you very much.